So I used this a couple of weeks ago on the trim, and I did a pretty good job. I guess I put it on twice, and that used up a whole bottle. So this is another bottle, and since that time, since the last application, I've probably ran this car through the car wash probably maybe 3 or 4 times or so. So I have one of those memberships to a car wash. So I go through the touchless one, and it does a pretty good job, but it's kind of expensive, but I guess it's worth it. I used to, before I even, I didn't want to run it through like, a regular car wash, and I was just doing it by hand, like, in one of those stalls, and I still do that sometimes. So I don't know what my point is there, but I would do it when I first got this car. I would do it in the freezing cold where it was like, ice was forming, and that's kind of hard to clean your car when you have when it's that cold. So anyway, this stuff, tire kicker, tire shine, seems to do a pretty good job. After that, the first time I used it, I've just been so frustrated with trying to get this trim like darker and not gray. I was thinking like maybe I should paint them, and that's still not out of the question. I still might end up doing that at some point. I watched Chris Fick's video, one of his early ones, and he kind of showed how to do that, and it's pretty much just like any spray painting that you do. Kind of just have to prep the surface, obviously clean it, and sand it a little bit just to get so the paint has more of a ability to stick, and primer, and then paint, and then sand, and then clear coat, and then sand. What was surprising to me when in Chris Fix's video is that he didn't do any sanding after he put the final coat on, and I'm pretty sure he didn't even put a clear coat on. So that was when he was I don't know, just starting out, I guess. But still, that guy's great. His videos are awesome. I've learned a lot from that guy. So, as you can see, still have that one issue there with the bumper. It looks pretty good. So, let me see if I'm still recording. Yes, I am. So that looks good. I'm going to do the rest of the car, and then, oh man, the sun is going to start. I'm going to get the sun. Okay, I'll be back. So yesterday I took this car to get inspected, and they called me. They called me and said that I was a quart low oil, and actually antifreeze, both of them. I was a quart low, and they asked if I wanted them to just top it off or do an oil change, and I said, well, I guess just do an oil change. And this car is dirty inside. Try not to look inside. So I was like, I know it hasn't been probably 3,000 miles since I had an oil change. And so when I went to pick up the car, it didn't need anything else, to pass inspection. This car only has 67,000 miles on it. So at the moment it doesn't need anything. So when I went to pick it up later yesterday, I asked if the guy that was working on it was there, and he wasn't there. And the lady, she didn't really know anything. And then so I was just talking to one of the mechanics there, or I asked her, like, when was the last time I had my oil changed, because they have records of my car, and it was last April, and it was like, I don't know, maybe 1,500 miles. She said 1,000, but I think it was probably more than that. So even though it's been a year, it still shouldn't be that low on oil. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I need to get that investigated or looked at or what, but it's just one of those things I have to start to keep an eye on, which is I guess I admit that I haven't been checking it, only because I feel like I just got my oil changed, not that many miles ago. So that's the only reason I haven't checked it. That, and I'm lazy. No, I don't know. So we'll see what happens. As far as the antifreeze, I don't know how. I don't even know. I guess you can check that. I guess they did, since they found out it was a quart low. But where did the antifreeze go? Is that something that evaporates? Speaking of antifreeze, I just started listening to these interrogation videos. I think it's Red Tree Crime. Has a whole bunch of interrogation videos, and they're really fun to listen to. Just these people just go into these interrogation rooms and just try and lie after doing like the most awful things. And one of the people that were being interrogated was this woman that her daughter ended up in the hospital, and due to organ failure and brain bleeding, and it's because she had been poisoning her with antifreeze. And the reason that they found out about it is because her husband and her son had died, and but they died like, I guess the father or the husband, um, they thought it was just because he had a real unhealthy lifestyle and he was like an alcoholic, and her son, who had some sort of disability, but he also had some health complications, and they just attributed both of those deaths to underlying health conditions. But then when her daughter had sort of a weird health problem, they're like, what is going on here? So they I guess when they do an autopsy, they keep samples of tissue. um, you know they just keep it, just to have on hand in case they need it again. And so they went back and looked, and they looked for some, I don't know if they do like a test for antifreeze, but they did a test for antifreeze and found the antifreeze. And the detective, or the detective that was interviewing this woman, was he knew about the antifreeze, so he was just trying to get her to admit it. And he's like, so what do you think could have happened to her? And she's like, I don't know. I don't know if maybe she got into some drugs, or maybe she got into some cleaner. And this woman, her daughter, was like a 20-year-old woman. She wasn't like, mentally challenged or anything. At least I don't think she was. And he's like, so what kind of cleaners would she have gotten into? And she's like, oh, I don't know. Maybe I Lysol or something. But anyway, she ended up admitting to it, and it turned out her other daughter had helped her poison all these people. So she also got in trouble, but I didn't hear any of her interview. But how she was administering this antifreeze was through Coca-Cola, mixing it in with the Coca-Cola that she would serve to them. So it was pretty interesting. Red Tree Crime. So I've been real into listening to those. Okay, I'm going to shut this off because I'm going to do the next step. So I had to move over to some shade. I'm using this synthetic quick detailer, extreme slick polymer detailer, and I've done the hood, and looks pretty good. So this stuff you kind of just spray liberally or whatever, and with one rag kind of just go over that section, and then with your other rag you have to Try not to get them mixed up, but it's not a huge deal if you do. You just kind of lightly go over. That's the trick with I dropped this cloth onto the pavement, and one thing Chris Fix says is to not do that. I mean, he says not to use it anymore, but I don't have another one. So I just have to be careful. Okay. So, I forget what I was saying. It was something important. The only problem with that those interrogation videos, is if you're listening to it, sometimes the audio is pretty bad. Like, why would they like just use like the crappiest audio recording equipment to record, something that's pretty important. So probably if you're watching it, well, not probably, if you're watching it, it has subtitles so you can see. But if you're, driving in your car, listening to it, it's kind of hard to hear sometimes. But not all of them are like that. Most of them are pretty good audio quality. But I have to skip through the ones that are not. So it seems like both of my rags are pretty wet. So I'm gonna have to get another one, a dry one, just go over everything after I've done this. But you can see that's this stuff, this synthetic quick detailer. It's pretty awesome. It's not that expensive. I think it's like $8 or $9 for a bottle. Same with the tire kicker stuff. Tire kicker, tire shine. These birds around here sure are sing-songy. This is a park in New Jersey. I came here right as the fall was happening. That's in one of my earlier, or my video from, in a video from last fall, I think like November probably. If you have any interest in watching that, but the video, the leaves are all over and there were a bunch of Canadian geese. There was like 100 Canadian geese over there. There's a lot of those birds around here. And yesterday I was at the UPS hub, which is one of my regular first stops in the morning sometimes, and there's a lot of geese there for some reason, and I stopped for one of them when I was leaving the parking lot that was trying to cross the road, and I stopped for him so he could cross, and once I stopped he started crossing, and then this guy behind me, I guess, didn't see it or know why I was stopped, so he like drives really fast around me, and then he almost hit the geese. That would have been awful. That would have ruined my whole day. So he might have felt bad, this guy in the pickup truck, but somehow I think it probably wouldn't have affected him if he had ran into these little insects like the smell of these chemicals. So I'm gonna have to get a dry rag, and of course my keys are in the car, because all I'm doing right now is smearing everything around. But it's looking good. So there's a wet one. This one might be okay. Let's try it. Yeah, that one's okay. So I've had this car for 2 years now. May was the anniversary of when I brought it home from CarMax. And do I have buyer's remorse? No, I don't. I love this car. I kind of wish, just because everybody seems to make such a big deal about it being a V6, I don't know. At the time when I was looking for a car, I don't know about this microphone. We'll see if it works. But my other camera, my the Insta 360 Go 2 that I have here. Oh, I don't have it here. Died. So I'm using this one, and I have a microphone attached to me, and it's something I haven't used very often, and so we'll see if it works or not. If it doesn't, then I'll cover it up, or I'll compensate with music. But anyway, I was saying whether or not I had buyer's remorse about buying this car, and I was saying how everybody seems to say what a piece of crap a V6 is compared to a V8, and meanwhile, whatever they're driving, who knows what they're driving. Most people that criticize the V6. So I don't know, I think it's pretty fast.
Like I could beat most cars if I'm racing, which I try to avoid doing. But and also, I mean, the insurance that I pay for this car is kind of crazy. Just for being a V6, I can't imagine what it's going to be, what it would be for a V8. But this rag here that I'm using, this I forget what it's called, but it's great for windows. It really gets all the streaks out. So I don't know. I think we might be okay here. I have Windex on this rag, so kind of have to gently do this. I think Windex takes off whatever you have on your paint or your finish. I don't know a lot of things sometimes about this kind of stuff, but it sure is not an easy job keeping this car clean, that's for sure. I do try. My best, but it is not easy. Like my other car, when I drive by and just check this out every morning, and sometimes there'll be like, bird crap on it, so I have to get out and clean that off, because that's not good to let that sit on your paint. But as far as the pollen, 10 minutes after I leave here, it's going to be covered with pollen again. That's pretty much impossible to keep off. So, alright, but I'm pretty happy with it. So like I said, I'll show you how well that trim stuff does. But let me just give you an overall per view. Sure is cool looking, this car, especially with the window tint. Really makes a big difference. See some streaks. But if you watched my last video, that back bumper trim looks a heck of a lot better than it did. Okay. I was thinking about trying to find a car show, not to be in one, but to just go check one out. I'm sure there are some. It's Memorial Day weekend. So Pretty cool. I don't have these secured very well, otherwise I would take this off and clean the inside. I have to, that's one of my things I need to do. Alright, well I think that's probably pretty good. Pretty good. Okay. Okay. Just gonna see. Alrighty. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you too.